This is spEarz to the streets. Get down to the beat, or get beat down in the street.
An absolute clinic. Ruka versus Rodriguez for the IC title ignited SummerSlam week with nothing but pure heat in my hood, right at the wood. Rightfully so, since this was one of those barn burners that would have been prominently placed as a main event back when SummerSlam religiously was held at Staples, knee crypto, at a time when divas were just fighting to get more than 5 minutes of ring time. Ruka came through with the strap and two types of Vans on, while Rodriguez shot into her corner sporting her common funeral attire. Fitting since LAX is strategically placed right next to a graveyard, emphasizing the kill in my home state of California. This mismatch has been seen before, and Ruka looked to have learned her lesson from the last time her and Rodriguez clashed in the ring. The champ started off strong, countering Rodriguez's power moves by keeping her foot on the gas so much I could have swore she was still speed champion. If Rodriguez caught Ruka launching off a crossbody, she'd instantly pivot from that. Anytime Rodriguez spilled out the ring, Ruka was quick to go to the top rope and to spill on top of her with much gymnastic flair. And anytime the champ got caught in the ropes, she'd counter with some sort of modified neck breaker. Ruka's fluidity in the ring on this night in LA was mercurial. But when speed meets a nigh immovable force like Rodriguez, something will have to give. And that just happened to be Rodriguez's face, spilling much color outside the ring, the challenger looking like she caught an orbital fracture from Ruka's early offense. And then it seemed like Ruka was prepared for this, and almost as if she suffered from hemophilia, because when the blood started pouring, Ruka started pumping the brakes. This allowed Rodriguez to regain some much-needed ground and earn a receipt or two by grinding the champ's face in the bottom rope and carrying out missile drop body slams. Ruka eventually regained her regalia after powering out of a grounded vice grip Rodriguez held her in and began coming off the cuff with one of the best underdog rallies ever put to screen, fighting from under, putting her weight on one knee at a time with a flurry of chops and elbow strikes. Granted, those cherry picker blows in the corner from Rodriguez was the picture of pure striking for the entirety of this clinic, but Ruka in this spot showed she was far from a slouch. A beautiful super kick also rang out clear from Ruka's corner, as well as a running knee strike and a flying code breaker that really should have put Rodriguez away, but that just wasn't in the script. Enter Judgment Day. I do have to give credit to the ref. She was on Roxanne Perez right away, pushing her out to the bottom rope after Ruka took her eye off the ball just to floor Rodriguez's enforcer. At this point, though, the numbers started to be placed firmly against her as the WWE Women's Champ Liv Morgan made her presence known. But her SummerSlam opponent, Io Sky, came through to even the odds for Ruka, despite getting picked up in one instant by Rodriguez like a rag doll. Earlier on, a running power slam from Rodriguez was surprisingly countered from the champ, but while setting up for the Soul Snatcher, Perez took advantage of the complex and time-consuming nature of this finisher, slamming Ruka face first into the ring post, allowing Rodriguez to pick up the pieces with a modified running choke slam, earning Rodriguez her much-deserved first piece of singles gold. Gathering intel from Ruka's previous title defense against Rodriguez earlier in her IC run, when I had heard the news of Ruka dropping this title, I had assumed that this was a squash, akin to what should have been later on in the week over at AEW with World vs. Persephone. I'm glad to see that instead this match was a hard-fought, full-blown clinic, and I stand by my comparison with this match to the TBS title match that occurred only mere days later. Though Ruka is now titleless, she is in prime position to become the new face of WWE's women's division. She is only a feud away, and with the way Rodriguez picked up the title in LA, that feud just might be with the Judgment Day. Ruka's growth from only a couple of weeks ago against Rodriguez is impressive. She ran the tape back, did her homework, and improved her in-ring IQ in a way that will only continue to serve her in a division where gymnasts are the minority and powerlifters are present en masse. Congratulations are, of course, in order for Rodriguez, who virtually won the title cleanly, only taking advantage of damage dealt outside the ring, not necessarily a direct distraction despite having a prominent faction behind her. Rodriguez hasn't held singles gold since her NXT days, and it will be fun to see her hold this title, as long as WWE Creative books her against jobbers. I've been convinced of Rodriguez's presence since I saw her at a house show earlier this year right next to WWE HQ in Connecticut against Io Sky. That woman really needs to watch her knees with those barely on the apron meteors, which, with her appearance in this clinic, brought back fond memories of that excellent fight as well. Rodriguez is well worth the money and spills color like a champ. The ref was bugging on this one when she signaled for the towel and started mopping the Teano's face. Just like the way that WWE Creative should book Rodriguez into a run against nothing but enhancement talent, I say let the blood flow.
This is spEarz2DaStreetz. Get down to the beat or get beat down in the street.